Well, welcome everybody, and thank you, Jim Mullins and Jenny Allender. While they were playing, I was thinking about laying on my back and floating through Fire Creek Pool. Those were the days. Well, welcome to all to West Virginia Rivers 30th Annual Holiday Shindig. Over the next hour, West Virginia Rivers is going to wow you with information you may have never known, history that will inspire you, prizes that will impress you, music that will move you, and introduce you to some people you will want to get to know. For 30 years, West Virginia Rivers has been fighting for clean water and pristine rivers in West Virginia. And with your help, we'll continue to ensure the future of water in our state and ensure that it is protected. So join us now for a celebration of wild, wonderful West Virginia rivers. Member of the board, Ed Gertler, a West Virginia wannabe, being a lifetime resident of Silver Spring, Maryland. His passion for canoeing has led him to West Virginia in 1965. And since then, he has returned repeatedly to explore its many rivers, creeks, ditches, etc. Ed notes that he also has a personal stake in West Virginia water quality, since his drinking water, the Potomac River, heads up in West Virginia. The coalition has high standards for its board members. And at this time of the year, the coalition would like me, Santa, and they are compelled to know whether Ed has been naughty or nice. It's been revealed that since March, Ed has been consuming enough white Cheez-Its to raise the company's stock. Ed claims that his compensation is he crushes them and garnishes his broccoli with the crumbs. So shall we keep him on the board? Well, seriously though, being part of the DC paddling community for so far back, it was inevitable that he would meet a fellow named Mac Thornton, who Ed would now like to introduce. Ed?
Oh, sorry, I just can't control myself. Well, I've known Mac Thornton for decades, and we've explored rivers together from West Virginia to Chile. Besides being an accomplished paddler and spinner of good yarns, Mac is one of those wonderful types who believe in giving back. Perhaps his greatest accomplishment was in founding WVRC. So we thought he should come before us this evening and tell us the rest of the story. So here's Mac.
Thanks, Ed, and hello, everybody. March 21st, 1975 was one of those pea soup fog, bone-chilling nights in the Eastern Mountains. That was the first night that I crossed the West Virginia line on my car with a canoe on the top, and the next day put in below Seneca Rocks and ran the North Fork, South Branch, Potomac. And just on that one day, I was hooked. And my favorites in the following years, the Laurel Fork of the Cheat, Blackwater Canyon, the Cheat Canyon, later the Gauley River. And I thought in those years that things were steady state, that these rivers would be pretty much the way I saw them that day. I was wrong. I saw bulldozing and channelizing of rivers like the North Fork South Branch I just mentioned, increased acid mine drainage, clear cutting and sedimentation. And I was getting pissed. In 1988, there was a proposal from a WVU official for 5 dams in the Upper Cheat watershed, and that pushed me over the edge, and some of my paddler friends also. But we faced some challenges. The first challenge was there was no one to complain to. No one had taken up the mission of speaking for West Virginia rivers. So we thought, well, maybe now is the time. But the second challenge was there was no way a bunch of DC pinheads, lawyers mostly, could form a coalition to do anything in West Virginia unless we went out to West Virginia and made friends and contacted and persuaded the West Virginia environmental community. So we met Jamie Shumway in 1990. He was an officer with the Sierra Club in West Virginia. He was extremely well connected with the environmental community, and he gathered folks in his living room in Morgantown. We made a presentation, and that's when West Virginia Rivers Coalition was born. We were the first statewide river conservation group east of the Rockies. We had another challenge. We had no money and no staff. So my friend Pope Barrow, who's on the call tonight, got us a grant from the Outdoor Industry Conservation Alliance, folks like Patagonia and REI, for $40,000. So we went out and hired this young guy, Roger Harrison, just graduating from WVU, the son of a Petersburg preacher man. And he put his preaching skills to work and matured fast, and he had to. Meanwhile, support was pouring in more than we ever imagined. We gathered 30 national, regional, and state conservation groups as part of the coalition, and 1,500 individuals. Our first major project was to advocate designation of 13 streams in the Monongahela under the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act. But this was vigorously opposed by the Department of Natural Resources, needlessly fearing for their bureaucratic prerogatives to manage fisheries. So in any event, we switched gears to a more holistic and watershed approach, focusing on water quality and the integrity of riparian lands. We've had many successes, some of which you'll hear about later tonight. And we nurtured other highly effective watershed associations like Friends of the Cheat and Friends of the Blackwater. Now, in recent years, after I left WVRC, there have been new issues coming to the fore, like fracking, mega gas pipelines, industrial scale chicken production, and of course, above ground chemical storage tanks, and more chemical pollutants coming to light, some of them toxic in extremely small quantities. So these problems are not going to be solved with a magic wand, and no one is coming to speak for our rivers for us. We have to do it. And we know that positive change comes incrementally with hard work, and sometimes victory is holding off the latest industry scheme to increase profit by increasing pollution. So we need to be firm and, above all, persistent. And that is what WVRC has been for 30 years. So this is our birthday. Happy birthday, West Virginia Rivers. And finally, I'd like to give a tribute to two wonderful folks that we have lost along the way. The first, Jamie Shumway, who rallied the West Virginia environmental community, thoughtful heart, and a big smile. He was a founder, director, vice chair, and chair. And as he was battling ALS, his last project was a marvelous autobiography called Off Belay, A Last Great Adventure. All proceeds he's donating to West Virginia Rivers. It's available on Amazon. And hello to his dear wife, Betsy, and son, Wes, who are on the phone tonight. And second, Don Garvin, an oil and gas man, but also an avid fisherman. He had 25 years service on the board until his death in 2016. And every year, Don would go to Charleston to the legislative session to duke it out with the forces of darkness. Not a fun task. Now, both these guys were major supporters financially of WVRC, and both would join me and suggesting that everyone consider a happy birthday gift or a holiday gift, whatever you want to call it, to West Virginia Rivers. And you can do that very easily on wvrivers.org and just press the donate button. The need for action is greater than ever. Thank you. Back to you, Santa.
Well, thank you for that history, Mac, blah, blah, Mac. Now we get to see some rivers in action from Jay Young. Jay is a Fayetteville-based photographer, videographer, and whitewater boater specializing in adventure pictures and landscapes. Roll that footage, Jay. Wow. Thank you, Jay. Now, let's go back to Ed.
Hi, I'm back again, I guess. Just for a few more thoughts. I support a lot of causes, but this is an organization that I particularly identify with. While my identity is with paddling, I came to West Virginia Rivers with ultimately 43 years of experience in water quality protection at the Maryland Department of the Environment. Though supporting the coalition just blindly from the beginning, it was only after joining the board that I learned how much of what the coalition fights for revolves around influencing water quality standards. Numbers matter in the world of water pollution control. It's those standards that determine what sort of limits and conditions the state can put on industries and cities to ensure that their wastewater or activities don't degrade our rivers and threaten our health. So I particularly value one of our accomplishments in 2020, with the help of so many letters and messages from many of you, to move our legislature to pass a study resolution to identify in our drinking water sources long-lasting toxic PFAs, which stands for polyfluoroalkyl substances. And I look forward in 2021, when consideration of water quality standards and human health protection comes before the legislature. We will, again with your support, and here's where dollars and cents matter, we will be able to hire the experts with the science to defend our recommendations. Together we can get the job done. What do you have to say, Santa?
Well, thank you, Ed. Well, next up, we have music from Meadow Run. This husband and wife duo bring campfire music to the microphone as they play unique songs that are a blend of the contemporary folk genre with the bluegrass spirit. Lindsay's voice carries her own lyrics, which connect friendship, mountain scenery, and thoughtful reminiscence. Mixed in to it a soothing, energetic sound, while Ty backs her up her energy with a beautiful melodic style of fiddle and vocal harmonies. Their love of music and each other is evident when the two play from their hearts. Roll it, Jay.
All right, so this next song we're going to do is called Like a River, and it was written by Kate Wolf. Not only is it one of my favorite songs of Kate Wolf, but I have lots of fond memories of From the Hip playing this song at Sheep Fest. So we thought maybe this would be a good one to do. So here it goes.
Well, thank you, Lindsay and Ty. And that was Meadow Run. Next up, we've got Chrissy Zeltner. Chrissy is an avid whitewater kayaker who came frequently to be found. She can be frequently found on West Virginia rivers. She's originally from Pennsylvania, but has been in West Virginia since the early 90s and now lives in Brewston Mills. Being self-employed as a massage therapist, she has a flexible schedule for lots of kayaking, hiking, and keeping up with her homestead of 2 dogs, a weird cat, 13 chickens, and 5 huge gardens. Having traveled all over the world, she keeps coming back to West Virginia and its gorgeous rivers, including her favorites, the Middle Fork of the Tigert and the Cheat. Chrissy, I'm afraid, is getting coal in her stocking this year. She's deemed naughty because she keeps driving a great big bad SUV, although she does defend that choice with the snowdrifts, and it will go through them on the mountains in Preston County. She might eke out a spot onto the nice list with all her tireless work that she puts into smooth running of the River Coalition. She's the chairperson. I think I may have said that. But speaking of, and I think she may have something to say about non-point source pollution. Chrissy?
Thank you, Santa. It's so good to see everybody. So speaking of non-point source pollution, I have a tough time saying that. It's everywhere. It's a leading cause of stream impairment. It runs off of parking lots. It leaks from faulty septic systems. It's the muddy sludge that we see coming off construction sites. And we need your help. So I'm pointing at all of you guys. So we're trying to raise $10,000 to help communities take this on, to take on non-point source pollution through innovative and individualized approaches. Your donation will bring together experts, public water systems, and residents to help keep non-point source pollution out of drinking water supplies. So wvrivers.org, click on the donate button. We need your help. We'd love some donations to help with that. And
now, Chrissy, isn't it prize time?
it is prize time, Santa. Prize time. So we're going to have some drawings throughout tonight's event. And in order to win those drawings or win the trivia questions, I need the first person to type the correct answer to this question in the chat box. So I'll give everybody a minute to get to your chat box. And the first question, name the 2 endangered fish species found in West Virginia. There are 2 of them, and there are 2 words that'll be hints: gemstones and sweet. So name the 2 endangered fish species found in West Virginia. And it looks like there might be a tie. Oh, no, David Lillard. David Lillard with the first person to answer that. So David Lillard, you will be receiving some West Virginia Rivers Coalition swag. Send us your information, get that to somebody on the staff, and we'll get you your prize. So, and actually, speaking of the candy darter, I am going to send you guys to fellow board member Nancy Ward at this point, and she's going to show you, there it is. That is our new mascot / logo / t-shirt design. And I'm gonna let Nancy tell you a little bit about the designer and our new t-shirts, but that's our new design, the candy darter.
Thanks, Christy. This is West Virginia Rivers is celebrating the candy darter with this beautiful new t-shirt designed by Rosalie Hazlett. They make the perfect gift, and all proceeds go to West Virginia Rivers, keeping our rivers and waters safe and clean. So go to westvirginiarivers.org, no, wvrivers.org, and order your Candy Darter tees and stickers tonight. We're getting low on some sizes, and if you get your order in right away, we will get it out for the holidays. If they're sold out in any sizes, then we will get them to you after the holidays. So thank you. Order today.
Thank you, Chrissy, and thank you, Nancy. Let me tell you a little something about that Nancy Ward. Nancy grew up in Minnesota, surrounded by 10,000 lakes, and she learned to swim and canoe before she could walk. Well, that's a slight exaggeration, but not too far off. Fast forward, and for the past 34 years, her love for water is now focused on West Virginia rivers, lakes, streams, and forest. And, oh yes, mushrooms. Nancy's favorite river is whichever one she is on, and her favorite place is outside. Nancy has been a very good girl. Her love of the environment comes through in all that she does. She has introduced thousands to the beauty and the usefulness of fungi. She's a really fun gal. Take it, Nancy.
Thanks, Santa. Well, my involvement with Rivers Coalition began with the water crisis in Charleston in 2014. It really hit home, literally, that safe, clean water is not only important, it's essential. As a board member, I see firsthand how a group of hardworking, committed people with the support of the community can make a significant difference. People like me came out of the woodwork and joined forces with West Virginia Rivers to get the above-ground storage tank bill passed. Angie and her team were instrumental in pushing for stricter rules and enforcement. Going forward, it's a never-ending battle to make sure our water is protected. So please help support West Virginia Rivers in their fight to keep West Virginia waters safe and clean for all of us. Thanks, Santa.
Well, Nancy, did you have a music act that you wanted to introduce?
Yes, I did, Santa. As a
I
matter
thought
of fact.
so.
Now, to introduce our next musical guest, Mr. and Mrs. Claus with Bare Bones. Take it away, Santa.
I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside.
We can't lay down our burdens yet.
Down by
the riverside.
Down by
the riverside.
Down by
the riverside. We can't lay down our burdens yet.
Down by
the riverside.
Down by the riverside.
Go to work till the rivers run clean and pure.
Down by
the riverside.
Down by
the riverside.
Down by
the riverside. Get the facts to the people now, that's for sure.
Down by
the riverside.
Down by the riverside.
To polluters we will stick it till clean water comes from your spigot. Clean water for us all. No more dirty water running down from the sewers all around the town. Clean water for us all. Go true.
Down by
the riverside. Down by the riverside.
Down by
Down by the riverside. Make sure they do what they said they'd do.
Down by
The riverside. Down by the riverside. When you spoil clean water, then it's a sin.
Down by
The riverside.
Down by
The riverside.
Down by
The riverside. Gonna make those rivers run clean again.
Down by
The riverside. Down by the riverside. We're gonna keep on working more. Clean water's what we're working for. Clean water for us.
water for us all.
It don't matter if you're rich or poor. Clean water's what you're looking for. Clean water for us all. It don't matter if you're rich or poor. Clean water's what you're looking for. Clean water for us
Clean water
all.
Thank you, Bare Bones. And I would also like to say that was Doc Cutlip singing there with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Next up, I think it's prize time again. Am I right, Chrissy?
Prize time. Okay, so I'll give everybody a couple seconds to get to your chat box again. Are you ready for the next question? Okay, this question is, what salamander found in West Virginia can reach up to 2 feet in length and has the nickname Snot Otter? Kara Brown wins that. That was fast typing, Kara Brown. Okay.
Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you. It's the only one I know.
Well, next up, we're going to introduce Eric Engel. Eric Engel is a 35-year-old graduate of Marshall University with a bachelor's in political science. He lives in Parkersburg with his wonderful fiancee, Kayla, and 2 children, Reagan and Alex, and is a U.S. Treasury employee. Oh, I don't know whether that's with the IRS or not, but you better watch out. Eric's a climate activist with a group called the Mid-Ohio Valley Climate Action, and he also works with the Sierra Club of West Virginia. Eric's favorite river is the Little Kanawha, and he joined the West Virginia Rivers Coalition to protect all our precious water resources in West Virginia. Eric's naughty because he uses fossil fuel utilities, but we consider his activism an offset. Here's Eric.
Absolutely. Thank you, Santa. And activism really is an offset. We've all got to get involved because we can't always help as people or households or communities what we have to do right now, but we can change the future, right? You know, you may have seen a recent year-end letter where WV Rivers talked about our accomplishments for 2020 and the funding we need to continue our mission and accomplish more. One item in the letter read that West Virginians are hungry for factual information on climate change, which is very true. We need $20,000 to develop a West Virginia-centric approach to climate education. Your donation will be used to develop online resources, publications, and public education events on the science behind climate change and why it matters for West Virginians and our policymakers. West Virginia Rivers Coalition is committed to addressing the global climate crisis in West Virginia and the Central Appalachia region. Earlier this year, West Virginia Rivers joined with the newly formed West Virginia Climate Alliance, comprised of environmental, faith-based, and civic organizations, and contributed to the publication of a Citizen's Guide to Climate Change. The guide offers an overview of the causes, impacts, and potential solutions and strategies for mitigating and adapting to what we've locked in and preventing the worst and most catastrophic from happening. The guide is written by and for West Virginians and those who live in similar climate throughout Appalachia. WV Rivers also hosted or co-hosted a series of online webinars this year with regard to climate change and its impacts on our state, our water, and on our youngest generations and posterity. We hope you'll support WV Rivers in our efforts to address this global and local crisis going into 2021, and you can do that at wvrivers.org and clicking on the donate button. Thank you again, Santa. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Paul. No, excuse me. Thank you, Eric, because we're going to Paul. Next up is Paul Brewer. Paul is a whitewater rafting industry pioneer, or the whitewater cowboy, as Senator Manchin's staff calls him. He ran the Lower New River in 1969. That certainly tells how old he is. And on a homemade raft, which was documented, and you can view it on YouTube under A Turkey Runs Through It. Paul joined the West Virginia Rivers Coalition in 2016 and became a board member because having access to clean water in the New and Gauley rivers affords him a lifetime career of guiding guests down rivers where only experts had dared to run before. Paul has several favorite rivers: the Gauley for whitewater, the Upper New for family floating, the Cranberry above Woodbine, now this is a secret, for fly fishing, and the Dries of the New River for spectacular scenery. Wow, where do I start? Nice, naughty, nice, oh, nice, absolutely nice. Thousands of people are grateful, whether they know it or not, to Paul and his old friends for pioneering the whitewater industry in West Virginia and developing safety standards which have saved lots of lives. Naughty is a bit tougher for me. Paul is such a good boy. The inner tube and plywood idea was pretty naughty, but I don't think he's going to try that again. Well, here's Paul.
Hi, Santa. Rudolph here. Oh, wait a minute. What? How are you, Santa? Let's talk about what's going on with West Virginia Rivers. On Santa's Christmas spirit, who's naughty and who's nice on Santa's list this year? Naughty. The pipeline companies, open cuts, big ditches across rivers and streams. Really? Yes, on the Greenbrier River, and a favorite river close to my home, the Upper Gully near Panther Creek. We have better technology that can be used to install these pipelines. Why don't they use it? Because it costs more money and time. The big dog pipeline companies don't want to spend extra money and time crossing small streams. What are streams to them anyway? Well, I'll tell you what streams and rivers are to me: the arteries of the earth. Yes, the lifeblood for fish, frogs, tadpoles, life, and all things human, you and me. We all need clean water from these streams to survive, to be healthy, to continue life. We don't want wastewater, runoff in our streams, killing fish, inhibiting wildlife, and polluting our drinking water. Really? Well, we want to say thank you to the West Virginia Rivers Coalition and mountain advocates and their other for stepping up and getting into the bat of challenging these folks in court in the blanket stream 401 crossing permits. Thanks for speaking up, and for the illegal stream crossings that would change the lifeblood of clean water across the arteries of the earth. Well, in 2021, the pipeline developers will be rushing to complete projects, We need at least $5,000 to support boots and eyes on the ground to help ensure the measures to protect the streams and the measures that are followed to protect them. Will you donate? We'd love you to donate to wvrivers.org. Your donation will be used to review pollution events reported by citizen scientists. Also, we'll keep working with companies to hold them accountable to the laws that protect our waters. Please donate, WV Rivers. And also, I want to go across something else today about the Lands and Waters Conservation Fund. Yes, it was a great fund that was started back in the President Eisenhower's days. These funds have built many small access to many small streams and parks in 54 counties in West Virginia. An amazing amount of money has been spent here, $254 million. Now, over the past 5 years, West Virginia Rivers Coalition supporters have talked to many senators and congressmen representatives, convinced them to support the permanent law and permanent funding so that the states can plan and complete many projects in the rural areas that really need and deserve them. Nationally, the money available could be as high as $450 million. Now, fast forward to August 2020, the Great Outdoors Act was passed. This act was one of the most important pieces of public lands and recreation legislation ever passed, with all West Virginia congressional members sponsoring the bill. Yes, it makes LWCF, Lands and Waters Conservation Fund, permanent. This is a huge move forward for the states so that they can plan and request funds. West Virginia now is in the planning stages, and public meetings are being held across the state for recreation plans. Get involved, call them, but also get involved with West Virginia Rivers Coalition. We really appreciate your support. Please go to wvrivers.org and donate. I wrote out my check today. Thank you. Back to Santa.
Thank you. Now, let's go back to Jay for some more river action. Jay, take it away. Thank you, Jay. Now, Chrissy, am I right? It's prize time again?
You are so right, Santa. Prize time. Okay, I'll give you guys all a second again to open up your chat boxes. And I'm opening up mine so I can see who the first answer will be. Ready for the question? What is the West Virginia state fish and only trout species native to West Virginia? Drum roll. Jeff Witten with the answer. It was the brook trout. Good job, Jeff Witten.
Well, Chrissy, I know this is off script, but should we talk some about the prizes?
Actually, that's a great idea. So we have just West Virginia Rivers Coalition swag will be sent out to the winners of the trivia questions. And then at the very end, we're entering all the participants of the event into a random drawing. And we'll draw 4 names. We have 4 grand prizes, 2 of which are prints by Jay, who has done our videos tonight. And I'm not sure if Jay, you could show those to us.
Paul has those. I don't have them with me.
Paul has them? Okay. Paul, can you show them to us?
That's the dries, the New River dries.
Okay. We're not seeing it, but we're just going to assume that they are wonderful prints, and maybe we can find those. Somebody can put those up on the screen for everybody to see at the end. But 2 of the
Paul's displaying them. He needs to make noise so we see him.
Hey, how are you?
Yes.
Oh, there's Paul.
Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, there's one of the prints that will be a grand prize.
Yes. And here's the other one. Yay.
Ooh, those are beautiful.
Very good. Very nice.
And our other grand prizes are going to be a stay at Cabins, West Virginia. And another prize is going to be a whitewater rafting trip.
Yay.
And we'll go into details about those whenever we do the drawing at the end.
Thank you, Chrissy. Next up, we have Dave Rudiger. Dave grew up in the woods and rivers of Lake Michigan. This led him to a degree in horticulture and science education. He spent 36 years teaching students biology, environmental, and earth science. He and his wife reside near the Black Fork of the Cheat River in Tucker County. They are both active with the Friends of the Cheat and the Cheat River Water Trail. They look forward to sharing their love of the river with their children and grandchildren. They believe river time is something important to everyone, and everyone needs to do it regularly. Dave loves water, but he has a special love for the Cheat River and its headwaters. I'm having trouble deciding on Dave. Naughty, nice. Okay, it depends on who you talk to. He has a habit of speaking his mind. And some of his sisters, I'm telling you, his sisters have unfriended him on Facebook. Passion for the environment and the truth can have that effect on some people. Here's Dave.
Hello, everybody. Am I on? I'm waiting. I don't know if I'm on.
We do, Dave. You're on.
Go for it.
You're on, Dave.
How about
we can hear
them
you.
ears?
You see me? It hasn't changed at all for me. Oh, well, hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I want to do a special shout out right off the bat here to Amanda Pitzer. I see her posting little messages, and she is the driving force behind the Friends of the Cheat. And the Friends of the Cheat and a partner organization, they've done so much work over the years, and they've been with us with the Rivers Coalition from a long time back, way almost at the very beginning. The Rivers Coalition was instrumental in helping them get started. So wonderful partners. Amanda, great job. Thank you for being here tonight. And if you've never paddled the Upper Cheat River Water Trail, you owe it to yourself to do it. 40 miles of the most beautiful river you've seen. So, yep, come on and join us and paddle it. So I'm proud to be part of West Virginia Rivers and associated with all these fine folks you've been seeing tonight and all the others that are associated with WV Rivers. They're wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I want to talk a little bit about what Paul was talking about, to expand a little bit about what that means as far as how West Virginia, WV Rivers, how they go about working to save our waters and our rivers. So there's two important ways WV Rivers works to protect the water and the rivers of West Virginia. Both involved all of us, anyone that treasures our rivers and anyone that demands clean, pure water, which really, that's everybody. So first of all, our staff works tirelessly to monitor the health and the well-being of our water and the rivers. This includes the actions of government and industry. They have to keep track of all the things that are going on in not just West Virginia, but in DC, and with the interactions between the government and industry. So they have to keep up on all that. And of course, they also monitor the river health. There's a whole nother group. We have scientists and people involved that are monitoring the river health. So now that's going on. And they have to ask, what are these guys planning? What are they going to do? And what can we do to make sure that the water and the rivers are safe and pure? So that brings up number two, our grassroots advocacy. We have got to watch what they do and tell them what we want them to do. So grassroots advocacy. Our water watchdogs, WV Rivers, alert us when action's needed. They send emails, they do Facebook, they do even phone calls if necessary, but they will let us know what's going on and what needs to be done. So they send out those emails, they send out Facebook posts, and they call to action. They call us to action. This past year, the grassroots advocacy made a huge difference. There were over 54,500 messages were sent to decision makers to make sure that they knew what we wanted them to do. Don't just listen to big money. Don't just listen to the lobbyists. Listen to your constituents, the people that put you in office. So we tell them through West Virginia Rivers and the advocacy program, we tell them what we want. 54,500 messages. So they listen to that. They want to hear from us. They want to keep grounded as to what's going on back home. That's us. So this coming year, it's going to be more and more important than ever that we do this. There is a toxic environmental movement in this legislature. They are working very tightly with big business, with big money, and they are not listening to the voice of the people. We need to scream louder and more often than ever before. So West Virginia Rivers wants to make it easy. They want to make it more easy. I mean, right now it's fairly easy. They send out these calls to action, and we send our message, which has been formed by WV Rivers. We send that on to our legislators. What we want to do is put in a system where you read the letter, you click on a button, and it sends it out to all of your representatives. So you get a call to action from West Virginia Rivers, WV Rivers. You read the letter, make changes or additions if you want to, press send, and it goes to all your representatives. Anybody that needs to see it will get a message from you. If the people speak loudly enough, they will hear and they will respond. Please support WV Rivers, both as a grassroots advocate and by donating to keep the battle for clean water and rivers alive. Go to wvrivers.org, click the donate button. Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, how about some more music? Let's do some music. I want to tell you about a friend of ours, Ime. Ime is a multi-talented artist, a writer, a musician, a singer, among other things. She does so much. But she and her husband, Ben, live near the Dry Fork River, and they have a honeybee farm, making mead, music, and laughter. They are so wonderful. Ime's love of rivers is often incorporated into her poetic song lyrics. many of her songs include water or include the rivers. So Ime and her husband, Ime and her band are going to perform for us next. The band's name is The Moon, My Twin, and they're performing Back to the River. Take it away, Ime.
Return to the raging sea, shares its sail with the thirsty, pushes out of the air. Feels every living thing, we can be alive. So take this water, send it back to the river. Oh, medicine won't pain me. He's a doctor, a patient, a little pills. Heals our sorrows and deaths. But our bodies on the move, they remember how it feels, what it's like to be alive. So take this body, send it back to the river. Wash my face, clean my soul, send me back to the river. Away to everyone that sees its face, shines a light out every day, still has kindness for a shade, wants to explode out on the dark, we can be loved. So take this love, take it back to the river. Take my life, take my love, send me back to the river.
thank you, E. May, and your band, The Moon My Twin. Well, next on my list is the staff of WV Rivers, starting with Angie Rosser. Angie served on the board of West Virginia Rivers for a few years. Then we brought her on as the executive director in 2012. She brings a lot of experience in policy and advocacy in West Virginia, and also an uncontrollable urge to get on and in rivers. She made my nice list by working so hard every day to protect these rivers that we love. But I have to say, I did get a naughty complaint about Angie. Now, let's see what that says. I received this letter, and it says, "Dear Santa, you should know that Angie thinks polluters have actually got to follow the law, and she keeps calling us out on our tricks that we try to pull and sneak more pollution into the water. Please put her on your naughty list so she knows to keep her mouth shut." Signed, Mr. Corporate Polluter. Well, what do you think, huh? Should Angie go on the naughty list for confronting polluters? Nah, I don't think so. Okay, let's hear from Angie.
Oh, Santa, I'm so relieved. Thank you for keeping me on the nice list. And yeah, I don't know who that letter came from. I can't imagine who. But it's nice to be here with all of you. My heart is full just seeing this community come together. What a year it's been, right? And the fact that we can all share in this space and know that we have each other has really pulled us through. And what we know to be true is that we couldn't do it without your support. So thanks to all of you who have given tonight. We've heard from Jeff Witten, Catherine Robinson, Amanda Pitzer, River Myers, David Lillard, Sarah Carballo, Lori Abildso, Danielle Walker, Randy Kiesling, Gary Zuckett, Deborah and Paul Hancock. Thank you all for giving in this hour. That is awesome. And we know many of you have been longtime supporters of West Virginia Rivers Coalition. We are standing on your shoulders, and you are enabling us to have an incredible high quality staff to carry out really difficult work under really challenging circumstances and political and industrial forces at play in our state. But we know that it's worth fighting for and it's worth protecting. So I get the pleasure of introducing the staff here, and I'm going to start with our newest member of our staff who just joined us earlier this month. It is Chet Pritchett, who is heading up our new development and fundraising program to make sure that we can sustain and grow our mission-driven work. So where's Chet? Say hello, Chet.
Hey, everyone. It's great to see everyone and be part of this fantastic organization. I look forward to meeting everyone, at least virtually, if not in person, over the next few months.
All right, Chet, welcome to the team. Next is Sarah Cross. She's joined us in July. She's based out of Martinsburg now. She's our campaigns coordinator and leading our public lands work. You heard some of the recent successes on that with from Paul about the Land and Water Conservation Fund. We're working hard on protecting our headwaters in the Monongahela National Forest, and she's also helping support our climate education campaign that Eric mentioned earlier. So where's Sarah? Hello, Sarah.
Hi, folks. Thanks for your support. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Next, we have Tanner Hay. Tanner's out in Charlestown, West Virginia, at the very tip of the Eastern Panhandle. And fittingly, he is our Eastern Panhandle campaign or field coordinator. He helps coordinate our safe water and community engagement programs in the Eastern Panhandle. So, hello, Tanner. Where is he? There he is. I see him with the antlers. All right. Okay, next we have representing Morgantown. Maya Welsh is our program director, and she makes sure our programming priorities make the most impact that they can possibly make. So, hello, Maya.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Excellent. All right, moving along to Autumn Crow, our staff scientist. She's out of Greenbrier County, Lewisburg. She provides our scientific analysis for our policy program and also manages our citizen oversight program, which has been very busy with the pipeline action that Paul had mentioned as well. Where's Autumn?
Happy holidays!
Thank you, Autumn. And last but not least is Kathleen Tyner, our operations manager representing the Fayetteville crew. Kathleen keeps everything moving on all cylinders, makes it possible for all of us to get the job done. She's the one who answers the phone. So if you give us a call, if you want assistance with making your donation, Kathleen's there to help. Hey, Kathleen, say hello.
Hello, hello. Happy New Year.
All right, so that's the crew here. I'm going to toss it to Chrissy to introduce a few more of our board members. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Okay. So first of all, I just have to say thank you all for joining us tonight. Seeing all the names of everybody and seeing everybody's faces and just all the support is just so overwhelming, and I'm so proud to be part of this organization. I've been part of the organization on the board for about 10 years now, and I've been chair for a couple years now, but I want to introduce the rest of the chair, or the rest of the board. You've met a few of them tonight, but there's been a few who kind of wanted to stay under the radar and not star in the show, but I'm still going to give them a call out, and I'd like to have them say hi and just a quick where they're from. We'll start with Rachel Tompkins. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Chrissy. I'm here in Pocahontas County on the banks of Douthards Creek. So my favorite river is the Greenbrier, or sometimes the Elk, which is a little north of here. But great show, guys. I'd do Zoom meetings all the time if they were like this.
Great. Okay, next I'd like to introduce Nick Smith.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Nick. I'm from Milton, so right between Huntington and Charleston, western part of the state.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, next I'd like to introduce Sean Romano.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's been a wonderful experience to be on board. My favorite is the Greenbrier, and work we've done has made it so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, next I'd like you to meet Mike Sawyer.
Good evening to everyone. Is my audio working? Doesn't look like it.
We hear you.
Audio's not working.
It's working.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Well, good evening to everyone. Angie, I didn't mean to make fun of you a while ago. You look lovely. And good to see everyone. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. We're going to get some snow tonight over here in Virginia. So I'm in Leesburg, Virginia. So everyone, good to see everyone. I really enjoyed the music. Let's just keep that going as long as we can. I'll just put that on in the background. So y'all take care. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mike.
See you on the river.
Well, speaking of the music, stay tuned for our very last song. I think you guys will all love it. I just want to mention one more board member that wasn't able to be on tonight, and that's Turner Sharp. And I just want to say thanks to our staff. Thank you to our board. Thank you to all of our river friends. I'm getting all emotional here because this just means a lot to me. So thank you, everybody. And now time for our.
Yeah, Chrissy, let me just, we've had a few more donations come in. This is, I mean, they're coming in. I'm really excited. Erica Stowe, Ed McGuire, Diane Fletcher, Robert Pugh, another purchase from David Lillard. Thank you again, everyone. We've got former board members out there. Thank you for making West Virginia Rivers what it is. We've got I saw three of our delegates, Delegate Doyle, Delegate Evan Hansen, and Delegate Walker, who are champions for clean water at the state capitol. Thank you for joining us tonight and fighting the good fight. So yes, a big applause deserved there. We need those champions more than ever.
They are definitely on my good list.
There we go.
Definitely.
All right. Wait, I want to do my prize time feature one more time, Chrissy. I worked so hard on this. I don't know if you even see it. Yeah,
there it is.
Go.
Prize time. And I've got my Christmas maraca here. Okay, so randomly drawn names from all of our participants this evening. So number 1, the print by Jay Young was Andrea Allen. Andrea, are you still with us?
Oh, should we make it you have to be present to win?
What's that, Angie?
Should we make it that you have to be present to win?
I don't know.
Let's take a vote.
Is Andrea Allen still here? Well, I say we make it a vote that people have to be present. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
yeah,
Santa says
stuck
you
with
have
us
to
this
be
whole
present.
time. So, okay, we'll go on to the next name that was drawn randomly. Linda Andrews Bergen.
Yay, Linda. All right.
Is she still here?
Hope so.
No. See, you guys leave too soon and you miss out.
Oh, no.
Calling 1, 2, 3 for either Andrea Allen or Linda Andrews Bergen. Okay, on to the next name that was drawn. We have Rebecca Kimmons. Is she here? Rebecca?
Yeah.
She's here, but she's muted.
Oh, okay. Rebecca, you're the winner of a print.
Wow. All right. Can you hear me?
And the next name on our randomly drawn names
There's
is
Rebecca.
What was that?
Here. Rebecca is here.
Rebecca? Congratulations, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Okay, Rebecca won a print. Okay, winner of the second print is John Bresland. I'll give John a minute to claim it.
John's here.
I am
saw him
here.
earlier. Where are you, John?
There's John.
Here we are.
Hi, John. Congratulations. You won you won one of the prints.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. Next winner of the cabin stay is Lucy Duff. We'll give Lucy a couple minutes. Lucy, are you here?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Lucy. You won a cabin stay. And the final and most exciting prize is a whitewater rafting trip. And the winner of that is Connie Roadcap.
I'm here.
Hi, Connie. You won a whitewater rafting trip.
Thank you so much.
So, well, again, I think Santa has some concluding words for us, and then everybody stay tuned. Seriously, the last song is like my favorite of the evening. But thank you guys again so much. Love you all.
Well, I also want to say thank you. And remember, go to wvrivers.org and hit that donate button. That way you will be personally responsible for helping to save the water quality and the rivers in West Virginia. Now, the West Virginia River Coalition would like to thank everyone who made this show possible, and I especially want to thank you for being a part of it. As we finish up this year and head into 2021, please keep West Virginia Rivers in mind for your end of the year tax deduction contribution. Help West Virginia Rivers continue their work of keeping our rivers and waters safe. The website is, of course, wvrivers.org, where you can donate and learn how to get involved in the protection of the rivers that we love. Thank you, everyone, and happy holidays, and a ho, 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 ho to you. Now, to take us out is going to be a song that is a cover of a Bare Bones song by the Singing Varmints.
I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside. We can't lay down our burdens yet. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. We can't lay down our burdens yet. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Go to work till the rivers run clean and pure. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Get back to the people now, that's for sure. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside. To polluters we will stick it, till clean water comes from your spigot. Clean water for us, water for us all. No more dirty water running down from the sewers all around the town. Clean water for us all. Gonna keep an eye on that pipeline crew. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Make sure they do what they said they'd do. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside. When squaw clean water, then it's a sin. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna make those rivers run clean again. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside. We're gonna keep on working more. Clean water's what we're working for. Clean water for us, water for us all. It don't matter if you're rich or poor. Clean water's what you're looking for. Clean water for us all. It don't matter if you're rich or poor. Clean water's what you're looking for. Clean water for us all.
That is too much.
Yay. Love it.
Cute.
Oh my goodness.
That was great, you guys. That was so great.
Singing varmints, other than West Virginia.
Awesome.
Big shout out to Santa and his varmints.
Yes.
It was great seeing everyone. Take care.
Fantastic.
Thank
Great
you all.
job.
Merry Christmas.
Thank
Bye. Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Merry
Happy
Christmas,
New Year.
everyone.
Sure.
Merry Christmas.
Good night, everybody.
Good to see
Speaking,
everybody.
everyone. Good to see you all. Your evening.
Take care. We'll do it again next year. Yay.
Merry Christmas.
Father.
Ho, 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 ho. Pretzel story still has his camera on.
Excuse me.
Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Hi, David. Take care, Angie.
Thank you
Catherine,
all. Thank
Dan,
you, Rivers
Eric,
Coalition.
Rebecca, take care. Love you all. Night.